Think you know Indian laws well? Think again. India in 2025 is rolling out some surprising new laws that are likely to impact daily life across the nation. Whether you're a resident or just planning a visit, these updates are worth knowing. From changes in internet usage regulations to new tax reforms and environmental initiatives, these laws could reshape how people live, work, and interact with the world. Stick around until the end to find out which law could have the biggest impact on daily life. But wait, before we dive fully into this, take 2 seconds and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on our future amazing content. And hit the like button. India's 10 Updated Law 2025. You won't believe Law 7. Law 1. Age Restriction on Internet Usage. In 2025, India introduces a landmark law that could reshape how young people experience the digital world. As part of an ambitious effort to protect minors, individuals under 18 will no longer have unrestricted access to social media or online content that could be harmful to their well-being. To unlock platforms like Instagram, TikTok, or even YouTube, minors will now need explicit parental consent. This law is a direct response to the alarming rise in cyberbullying, mental health challenges like anxiety and depression, and the increasing dangers associated with online data privacy breaches among children and teens. Parents are now expected to be more hands-on, guiding their children through digital experiences, while schools must engage in a more vigilant role to help protect students from online predators and harmful content. Service providers, including social media companies, are required to implement age verification systems, ensuring that only those with the proper consent can access platforms that might otherwise expose them to inappropriate material. The penalties for companies that fail to enforce these regulations are no small matter. Expect hefty fines and the possibility of services being suspended entirely, making tech giants rethink their business models. While this move has been lauded as a critical step toward ensuring the safety of India's younger generation, it has also raised concerns about limiting freedom of expression and creativity online. Critics argue that the law could suppress young voices who want to engage in the digital space, but its supporters assert that protecting the mental health of youth takes precedence. As India faces the balancing act between progress and protection in an increasingly digital world, this new law could well mark the beginning of a global shift toward safer internet use. Law 2. Environmental Plastic Ban. India's commitment to fighting environmental destruction takes a bold step in 2025, with an expanded plastic ban that will affect nearly every corner of daily life. As one of the world's largest plastic polluters, India has declared war on single-use plastics. Plastic bags, utensils, straws, and even plastic packaging that flood supermarkets and markets alike are now banned, with heavy penalties in place for those who defy the rules. The government isn't just eliminating the plastic problem. It's leading the charge for change by incentivizing businesses to adopt biodegradable alternatives. Startups and innovators are encouraged to get creative with eco-friendly materials, and companies that invest in sustainable solutions are rewarded with government subsidies, making green technology a business imperative rather than a choice. The law also calls on citizens to rethink their daily habits. Gone will be the days of easy plastic bags for groceries. Now, reusable cloth bags or metal alternatives are the new normal. The hope is that, through this regulation, India's bustling streets, rivers, and rural landscapes will no longer be overrun by plastic waste, which chokes waterways, threatens wildlife, and clutters the environment. Despite the initial hurdles businesses might face in sourcing materials or adjusting supply chains, the law has sparked optimism among environmental activists. India has become a trailblazer in the global fight against plastic pollution, setting a strong example for neighboring countries to follow. This ban is not just a law. It's a rallying cry for a nation to rethink consumption and adopt a more sustainable, eco-conscious lifestyle. Public support for the initiative is growing, and community-led cleanup movements are gaining momentum. With bold action comes significant change, and the hope is that India's example will inspire other nations to step up their efforts and rethink the future of plastic. Law 3. Stricter labor laws for the gig economy. India's gig economy, which has exploded in popularity over the past decade, faces a transformation in 2025 with the introduction of stricter labor laws aimed at providing much-needed protections for millions of workers. From food delivery drivers to rideshare operators, India's gig workers have long operated without the safety nets that traditional employees take for granted. But this new regulation changes the game by ensuring that workers have access to minimum wage guarantees, health insurance, and social security benefits, something that was previously out of reach for many. The law is a direct response to the exploitation and uncertain conditions that gig workers often face, such as unpredictable earnings, lack of job security, and the absence of workplace benefits. By offering these protections, India aims to stabilize the gig economy, ensuring that its workers can earn a decent living without being left vulnerable to the whims of unpredictable work schedules or financial hardship. However, the new regulations come at a cost. Critics argue that businesses, particularly those relying heavily on gig workers, may face higher operational costs, which could lead to increased prices for consumers and stunted growth for the sector as a whole. Despite these concerns, labor advocates view the reforms as a win for fairness and workers' rights. This law is not just about improving conditions for workers. It aligns India with global labor trends, as other countries also struggle to create sustainable, fair treatment for gig economy workers. This law is a significant leap toward a world where flexible jobs no longer equate to unfair working conditions. It represents a much-needed shift in how India values and protects the rights of its workforce, ensuring that the gig economy remains sustainable and fair for all involved. Law 4. Digital privacy and data protection. In an era where personal data has become one of the most valuable currencies, India's 2025 Data Protection Act emerges as a bold and defining step towards securing the privacy of its citizens. This law introduces a revolutionary approach to digital privacy, compelling companies to obtain explicit consent from users before they can collect or share personal information. Gone are the days when users unknowingly handed over their data in exchange for access to a free app or website. Now, companies must be fully transparent, offering clear, accessible data usage policies to all consumers. More than just a rule for businesses, the law empowers users with the right to ask for their data to be deleted or corrected, providing an unprecedented level of control. Imagine having the ability to reclaim your digital footprint in a world where your personal information is often bought and sold without your knowledge. For many, this newfound control will feel like a victory against the tech giants who have long dominated the digital landscape. However, this shift comes at a cost. Smaller businesses, especially startups, could find a compliance process burdensome and expensive. They must invest in robust data protection systems, a financial strain that may leave some struggling to adapt. Despite these challenges, this law reflects India's determination to protect its citizens in an increasingly interconnected world. With the potential for severe fines and operational restrictions for non-compliant companies, India is setting a global standard for digital privacy and security, signaling to the world that it will not stand idly by as personal data is exploited for profit. Law 5. Cryptocurrency taxation and regulations. India's decision to implement a strict regulatory framework for cryptocurrency in 2025 has sent ripples through the global crypto community. With the introduction of a 30% capital gains tax on all crypto transactions, India is sending a clear message that it views cryptocurrency not just as a digital asset, but as a financial tool that must be regulated in the same way as traditional investments. This move transforms the once speculative world of cryptocurrency into a legitimate taxable industry. At the heart of this regulation is the requirement for individuals to disclose their crypto holdings in annual tax filings. It's not just about paying taxes on profits anymore. It's about full transparency in the rapidly evolving crypto ecosystem. Crypto exchanges, which were once freewheeling entities, now find themselves under strict government oversight. They must register with the government and adhere to rigorous transparency standards aimed at preventing fraud and money laundering. While this may sound like a victory for financial stability, it comes at a cost. Some crypto enthusiasts argue that these regulations stifle innovation and hinder the true potential of blockchain technology. They fear that the heavy tax burden and bureaucracy may drive investors away, pushing them to less regulated markets. However, others welcome the increased security, feeling more confident in a market that is now governed by clear, enforceable rules. By balancing the need for growth with the necessity of financial integrity, India has positioned itself as a global leader in responsible cryptocurrency adoption, setting the tone for other nations looking to regulate the digital currency market without stifling innovation. Law 6. Enhanced Public Health and Smoking Regulations. India's sweeping new public health law, effective from 2025, marks a bold and transformative step toward a smoke-free nation. With the prohibition of smoking in all public areas, from parks and streets to cafes and shopping centers, India is making it clear that public health takes precedence over personal choice when it comes to the dangers of smoking. This is no longer just a ban on smoking. It's part of a larger nationwide health initiative designed to reduce secondhand smoke exposure, particularly in crowded urban areas where millions are unknowingly inhaling harmful chemicals. Violating this ban doesn't just come with a slap on the wrist. Smokers will face fines, and businesses that permit indoor smoking will also be penalized. It's a strong message to the public and private sectors alike. Smoking is not just a personal habit. It's a public health issue. The law is not just punitive, it's also proactive. The government has pledged to fund smoking cessation programs, offering support to those who wish to quit. Imagine a nation where public spaces are truly smoke-free, and individuals are given the tools and resources they need to break free from the grip of addiction. Experts predict that, over time, this law could significantly reduce smoking-related illnesses, relieving pressure on the healthcare system and improving overall life expectancy. However, some detractors argue that this law infringes on personal freedom, particularly in a country where smoking is still a cultural norm in many regions. Despite these concerns, India's decision to adopt such stringent measures places it in the vanguard of countries that are tackling smoking-related health problems with courage and foresight. Oh, and by the way, I know you're liking this video already. Go ahead right now and show me some love by hitting the like button. Done. Alright, let's continue. Law 7. Renewable energy mandates for businesses. India is taking a bold step into the future with a law that pushes businesses to transform the way they power their operations. By 2025, companies must source at least 40% of their energy from renewable sources. This ambitious mandate is set to reshape entire industries, from manufacturing to tech, as companies invest in solar panels, wind turbines, and other green energy solutions to meet their quotas. This isn't just a green initiative. It's a game changer for businesses and the economy alike. For those who fail to comply, steep fines are on the horizon. But for businesses that go above and beyond, the reward is a powerful tax incentive, making the shift to clean energy not just a moral decision, but a financial one too. While environmentalists are cheering on India's commitment to reducing its carbon footprint, some industries are left grappling with the initial costs of these shifts, questioning whether they can handle the financial burden. However, this law sets the stage for India to become a global leader in sustainable business practices, sending a clear message that the future belongs to the green economy. The pressure is on for businesses to innovate, adapt, and thrive in an increasingly eco-conscious world. Law 8. New education standards and skill development. As India's job market rapidly evolves, so does its education system. The new educational reforms set to take effect in 2025 are designed to equip students with the real-world skills they need to succeed in an increasingly digital world. Gone are the days of simply learning theory. Now, students will dive into digital literacy, financial management, and soft skills training as core components of their curriculum. Imagine a future where young professionals not only understand coding or tech, but also have the critical thinking, communication, and leadership skills that employers crave. Schools will be encouraged to partner with tech companies to offer internships and vocational training, giving students hands-on experience that prepares them for the workforce, not just the classroom. While this approach is widely seen as a positive step toward addressing India's growing skills gap, there's an underlying challenge. How do schools, particularly in rural areas, adapt to these new standards with limited resources? This law signals a major shift in the way India approaches education, paving the way for a workforce that is not only competitive but adaptable to the demands of the 21st century economy. Law 9. Real estate regulation and affordable housing. The real estate market in India has long been a maze of complex regulations, hidden fees, and opaque project details, leaving home buyers vulnerable to deception. But in 2025, a new law aims to change that by mandating complete transparency from developers. Every project must now disclose crucial details like cost breakdowns, timelines, and environmental impact, giving potential homeowners the clarity and confidence they need to make informed decisions. For the first time, developers will face serious penalties for misleading advertisements and non-compliance, making it harder for fraudsters to take advantage of unsuspecting buyers. This law also tackles the housing shortage head-on, with incentives for developers to build affordable housing in addition to luxury projects. For first-time buyers, this regulation brings a sense of security, knowing they're protected from hidden costs and delays that have long plagued the market. With this law, the government hopes to stabilize the housing market, making homeownership more attainable for India's growing middle class, and ultimately promoting fair and equitable urban development across the nation. This regulation doesn't just change the market. It could change the lives of millions of families, giving them a fair shot at owning a home. Law 10. Nationwide ban on gambling ads. India's stance on gambling is becoming clearer with the introduction of a nationwide ban on gambling advertisements, spanning every media platform imaginable, from online spaces to TV and even print. This law targets the subtle yet pervasive influence of gambling ads that often glamorize a dangerous habit, particularly among young and vulnerable audiences. By curbing these ads, the government is taking a firm stand against gambling addiction, a growing problem that has had devastating impacts on families and communities. Critics of the law argue that it infringes on business freedoms, but the social responsibility angle is undeniable. As the government cracks down on violators with hefty fines and the possibility of banning them from the Indian market, the law sends a powerful message. India values its people's well-being more than profits. This regulation not only protects individuals from the dangers of gambling addiction, but also aligns with India's broader mental health initiatives. It's a proactive approach to social welfare, showing a commitment to protecting the most vulnerable members of society, while making sure that businesses act responsibly in their pursuit of profit. Social organizations have hailed this as a major victory for mental health advocacy, marking India as a leader in protecting its citizens from the harms of gambling. In conclusion, from digital security to environmental safeguards, these 10 new laws in India reflect a commitment to progress and responsibility. Whether you're an Indian resident or a visitor, these changes are reshaping daily life in unexpected ways. Which of these laws surprise you the most? Let us have your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us. If you found this information enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content about cities and cultures from around the world.